Beautiful ones, how are you doing today? This is beginning to sound a bit redundant. I do mean it. You see, we can actually start by that. Um, you know, how often, perhaps not so much now, um, with the lockdown and everything, but how often do you go, say, to your grocery shop? Um, oh, and by the way, my name is João Cerejo. It's a pleasure to have you joining me for my yin class, the virtual Shala. Um, Continuing, that you go to your grocery shop, to whatever you decide to do your shopping and stuff, and you go and you're paying the lady or the gentleman, right? And often, especially in this country, one tends to start the conversation by saying hello and then how are you, right? Do you actually mean it? Or is it just a mechanical thing that one does that it's just, hey, how's it going? And you actually don't really care if the person is doing well or not. It's just it's politically correct. Hmm. I'll tell you a story. I remember at some point, it wasn't a social experiment per se, but it could have verged on that, right? I'd go into shops and, as I do, um, I'd ask, I'd inquire, how are you doing? And you'd be surprised that, what was it? Let's not exaggerate, but 7 out of 10 would get defensive about it. What you mean, how I am? Or look at me like I'm some sort of, I might have the look of a crazy yogi, these new age uh, spiritual guides and whatnot. I'm none of that. If anything, I'm your spiritual alarm clock. Get it? Um, and so you'd be, that's the thing. Some, one or two, would get really emotional about it. Like, oh, someone actually cares that I'm a human being behind the till, right? Why am I bringing this up? Obviously, because I asked how you are, and I do mean it. The problem here is that, or the issue or the challenging thing, you can tell me by the end, hopefully you'll be feeling a little bit better. But usually, that being said, um, I cannot really now know how you're doing. But more important than me knowing how you're doing, can you genuinely, throughout the class, truthfully inquire within, how am I doing? When you ask this to someone, especially to a loved one, can you do the same to yourselves? You are the center of or at least your universe. Um, I always go on in these ramblings. My teacher keeps on telling me, and I agree with him. I must say, I agree with him. The talk is in the asanas, not this philosophy. It's just entertainment for this. But hopefully will get you in the mind, in the right state of mind. So throughout the class, how am I feeling? Let's get started. Please find a comfortable seated position. Actually, why not? We start today in, see, I'm even using the bolster. You might not need to. Thunderbolt position, big toes together, sitting on your heels. You can have one of these in between your legs and your thighs, like a foam block, or a pillow, or a pillow. Um, so please get in the pose. Let me get this a little bit higher up. There we go. Rest your hands on your thighs. Palms up, a signal of willingness to receive. Palms down, groundedness. I'm inviting you to close your eyes Every single in-breath, think of elevation, of elongation to your spine, as if you want to reach, use the breath up your spine to the crown of the head, as if you want to reach the ceiling with the top of your head. Every time you take an out breath, also through the nose, down the spine, sense of grounding, of rooting, of anchoring. Eyes closed. Keep going. Inhale through the nose, up, crown of the head. Exhale, also through the nose, down the spine for Mother Earth, Father Earth to receive. Be here just for a minute or so. Inhale, up, crown of the head. Exhale, down the spine. And notice, am I rushing things? Am I already thinking of the next step? Or can I be fully present, fully embodying myself now? Always this rush of doing more, doing more, starting on time. Stay present, breathe. Come to your heart. And you do so. Palms of the hands together at your heart center. 3 Oms to open our practice. Inhale through the nose. Inhale. Inhale. Gently feel your eyelids open. Welcome back. From this position, either with your toes tucked, so this, right? Try to have each of your heels directly underneath each of your sitting bones. This adds an element of toe and sole of the feet stretch. You can do this 2 hands, both hands at the same time, or 1 hand at a time. So from here, right hand, palm of the hand down, fingers facing your right knee. The other hand can be here for support, or you can do the 2 at the same time, right? Spread your fingers as wide as you can. Obviously, the further away you take the hands from you, the more intense it will be. The closer to you, less intense. And so, just a minute or so here. Obviously, if you chose to stay on both hands, please stay on both hands throughout. Just close the window. For the last few seconds, if this is appropriate for you, let's come a little bit further back. You may lift the heel of the hand slightly off the floor and bend a little bit your right elbow. Right? In both cases, I should have said this before. If you're here and you have a tendency to overextend your elbow, a lot of flexibility here. Try to keep the bend slightly bend on the elbow there, rather than allowing. I can't do that, but some people have this over flexibility where this will go further forward, and that's not really good for your joints now, is it? Very good. Slowly, slowly. If you're just doing one hand at a time, lift that hand up, shake, move that wrist, open and spread the fingers. Let's change hands. Left hand, fingers pointing to your left knee, right hand as a support. Slight bend of the left elbow if you tend to overextend it. Think of the stretch to the wrist, the forearm. A lot of time spent on um, laptop typing away, hey? Lift the heel of the hand slightly, bend the elbow maybe a little bit. Both hands come up. Take the wrists, extend the arms out to the side. Thumbs inside, like this. Close the hands, and with the arms out to the side. Doesn't need to be shoulder high. Think of bringing the thumb, using the fingers to pull the thumb down. This will allow you to stretch the outer edge of your forearm and bringing a little bit more focus onto the sole of the feet. Very good. Release. Hands to the floor. Untuck the toes if you chose to have the toes tucked. Tap the top of the feet to the floor, alternatively. Then have a pillow or one book or a brick in front of you, or the bolster. All of these will help. Sit onto your heels. Now with your top of the feet stretch. For some, you may want to rest the knees on top of a bolster, like that. On top of a brick, maybe. So the shin bones and the knees are off the floor, right? Or you lift higher enough, bring the hands maybe to the floor behind you, spine long, resting the hands on your thighs or on your knees, or palms of the hands together at the heart center. Be here for the next minute or so. Very good. Remove the prop from underneath your knees. Walk your hands forward slowly, one leg at a time. Push the heel away from you. Be mindful of your knees when you do this movement. And that inquiry, how am I feeling up until now? Has anything shifted? Change legs. And so, our next asana is called Malasana Yogi Squat. So, if you're facing the longer edge of your mat, sole of the feet on the floor, heels maybe in, toes out, right? Look where your knees are pointing, and where your knees are pointing, pivot on the heels and point the toes in the same direction. Very important. If you struggle to bring the heels down, right? Pillows or this, and then sit down, right? I'll show you from the side and also from the front. So from here, rather than collapsing down, palms of the hands together, thumbs to your chest bone, use your knees pushing, pressing inwardly, elbows pressing outwardly to find length to your spine rather than rounding. Push the hands against each other, push the knees inwardly, find length. You can also, if this is incredibly intense for you, can also sit on a bolster or on your brick like that. Close the eyes. Think of allowing the heart to expand forward. Be here for another 3 minutes. Try to keep your eyes closed, drawing inwardly. Eyes closed. And so, the moment that you close the eyes, there's a drawing, a closing down, a narrowing of at least the sense of sight is one less stimuli. I'll keep quiet and allow you to focus on the hips, the inner groins, the glutes, your spine, trying to foster a sense of presence, inquiring if I can give permission to just be. I highly suggest you to stay still, to not move around. And if for the first breath or two you can just stay still and suddenly become agitated, that's the invitation, that's the opportunity, not the challenge, that's the opportunity to for that sense of fostering of reminding yourselves that you're here by choice, and with enough time, with enough patience, with focusing on breath, the body adjusts, adapts. Last few seconds in this posture. Very good. Toes, hands to the floor, toes in, heels in, toes in, so that you maintain your feet and your knees hip width apart. Uttanasana, standing forward fold for 2 minutes. So here, if it's really intense, you can keep your knees bent, but think of stretching the legs, right? You may have a bolster to rest your hands if it's too far away from the floor. Head down. You can rest the hands, um, the one elbow, forearms maybe. Maybe hold opposite elbow, right? 3 minutes here. Close the eyes. Be still. Try to maintain the shoulders relaxed. If it's really, really intense, you could have also it like this, right? Resting the head on a bolster or on a chair if you have a chair in front of you. Just want to have support. Change the crossing of your arms if you're holding opposite elbow. Very good. Bend your knees, chin to chest. Slowly, slowly, gently begin to roll up vertebrae by vertebrae, and then you lost me. And alongside the body, try to, that's not only the wrists here, try to take the shoulders so that you bring the palms of the hands facing out, eyes closed. And then slowly, slowly bend your knees. Have a look at the screen. This posture, don't quote me on this. I know it's side stretch, side sphinx. So I dare to say that the Sanskrit name is probably going to be Tiryaka Salamba Bhujangasana, or Eka Mukha, Eka. Forget about that. I'll have to inquire on that. So side sphinx, side stretch. So come on the right edge of your body, legs straight, one one leg, the left leg on top of the right. Right hand on the side of your right hip, further away from you, less intense. Closer to you, more intense. My right hip is on the floor, both shoulder blades facing forward. You can have the left hand in front of you to support you. You can also, the hand is not allowing me to relax the shoulder so that your right ear comes closer to, so you're sinking in. Doesn't keep pushing the fingers down because it might feel like it's too much on the wrists. You can also make a fist instead if it's incredibly intense for you. Obviously, if it's intense, you just take the hands further away. You can also, I guess, rest the elbow, your forearm on the bolster like this. Be here for 3 minutes. What you're feeling is from the right hip side all the way up your right shoulder, side stretch. Try to maintain the left hip on top of the right so you're not collapsing the left butt cheek back. You're invited to close the eyes and focusing the breath on the right side of your abdominal wall. So obviously there's here also a little bit of an element of compressing to my left side. So the more you lift up, this also decreases so that you think that from the waistline down, it's not so much this movement, but rather that side you're trying to extend. You probably feel it more. There's a little bit of compression, but you think it's like a side stretch. Very good. Bend the knees. Slowly change sides. So now you extend the legs. You have the right on top of the left. Yeah, if you do the knees bent, you can also feel a stretch here. But I'd suggest having the legs straight unless it's really uncomfortable for you. But remember, what's making this stretch more or less intense, deeper or not, is the way where you position your left hand. So you're further away because it's not as intense. Closer to you, a little bit more intense. So you're not bringing the shoulders back. It's like if you're standing upright, hips forward. Rest the right hand in front of you for balance or on top of the the right thigh. And try not to expect this side to feel exactly the same. Probably came to realize already that when you take a long, deep in breath, the stretch um, will become more intense. That's one of the many reasons why the breath is so important, as it allows you to slowly, slowly create space, stretch, um, open, elongate the fascia, the connective tissue, just with your breath. So stretching your body from the inside out. Very good. Very good. Our next posture is okay. Let's give you a couple of options. I'll give you three options. You can either do figure four shape lying on your back, right ankle. This I would say that this is the most accessible of the variations on the main posture, which is Swan, Ekapada, Kapotasana. So this is the first one. Then you can bring the thread the needle, right hand in between, and you hold, interlace the fingers behind your left knee, the shin bone maybe. Try to have both shoulder blades on the floor, head on the floor. Flex. Flex means this, pointing the toes to your right knee. Flex your right foot, relax the left. Maybe use the right hand to push the right knee away from you at the same time that you're bringing your left knee to you. You can also do swan, pigeon, right knee also forward. So here, hips square. If your right butt cheek is lifting off the floor, you bring a prop or a pillow. Yeah. My hips are now to see if your hips are square. Maybe not. Maybe you stay upright, having the right heel underneath your left hip bone, toes pointing in that way. Or if you have more flexibility, shin bone parallel to the top of the mat, and then you go forward, right? Think of the heart leading the way, because if you stay here, rounding, that's not really much you think of. Look at my spine here, rather than rounding here, lengthening, right? Heart leads the way. Last but not least, square, sitting cross-legged, right ankle on the outside or on top of your right knee. Right knee, maybe we'll start here. And you may want to have prop this, eventually rest down, spine long, maybe you walk forward. Be here for the next 3 minutes. Close your eyes and see if with time you can begin to relax more into the posture. Now, depending on your variation, if you chose to be like this or this, I begin to walk the hands back, remove carefully, extend both legs forward, and roll the hips from side to side. If you're in pigeon, you may want first to walk your hands towards your shin, then maybe just extend the right leg back from a tabletop position or a downward facing, one-legged downward facing dog, right? If you're lying on your back, more simple, just release. You can have the feet on the floor, knees together. Any of these variations, you shake the legs or you do anything that feels nice to you for 1 to 3 breaths, and then in your own time, second side. So left leg, left butt cheek, left outer thigh, left IT band, left psoas muscle. In theory, because everything is connected, so you might feel it more intensely there, but maybe it's affecting also probably other part, not probably, definitely other parts of your body. So this, or if you decided to do Agni Stambhasana, square posture. You can also call it Ekapada Padmasana, one-legged lotus position. 3, 4 more minutes, 3, 4 minutes here. Stay still, no judgment or attachment or pushing away of any sensation that surfaces, that creeps in. Obviously, no pain though. Step always, always, always step away from pain. If you feel pain, you've gone over your edge, and your body is clearly telling you so. Very good. So retrace the steps that allow you to get here. Do any resetting, any movements that feels nice for you on the posture that you've chose based on what I mentioned on the previous side. And then in your own time, with a brick nearby, come to lie flat on your back, legs straight, arms alongside the body, both hands on top of your belly, on the navel, eyes closed, legs together, heels together. Let the big toes distance away from each other. Inhale, belly button lifts up to the ceiling. Exhale, withdraws into the spine. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through your nose. Inhale, the hands, the fingers will part ways as you expand the tummy. Exhale through the nose, and the hands, the fingers will come together, maybe interlacing. Just focusing on that movement of the navel up and down with your breath. Again, the inquiry being not a question for your mind, a question for your body. You'll see that the answer won't be uh, a rational one. It won't be one that will satisfy your mind. You really inquire your body, your heart, you'll get an answer in senses, in sensations, in emotions, in feelings. So bend your knees, slide your heels close to your bum, feet on the floor, tuck the shoulder blades back and down. Fingers, your middle fingers touch the back of your heels. Feet, knees hip width apart. Squeeze the butt cheeks. Lift up. Brick at this height or this. I mean, if you're really flexible, maybe this, but see if that does not pinch your lower back. It's not touching your spine. Well, it's at the edge, the bottom of the spine, the tailbone, the sacrum, flat surface, hard surface above the meaty, the fleshy bit of the bum. So it's also not on the bum. And so for some, this might be enough. Ave, mudra, goddess or cactus arms, whatever you want to call them. Elbows in the same line as your shoulders might be enough for some. Maybe you also extend the legs forward. So now I feel more of a stretch here, my thigh. But if you're not careful and, be really, again, it's like that genuine question, how do I feel? Not how you want the pose to look like. If this is too much, you shouldn't feel any pain. This is a posture with the legs straight can potentially compress a lot of your lumbar spine, leading to, uh, if not now, hopefully not, but in the future, to injuries. Be here for the next 3 minutes. Both shoulder blades closer together so that they can both be flat on the floor. All of the chest is open, and whatever prop you chose, your hips are higher than your heart and your head. So it's a little bit of an inversion. We're changing the influx, the flood, the flow of blood and lymph towards the heart, the throat, the head. Salamba Setu Bandhasana. Supported bridge pose. So if you chose to to extend the legs, slowly, tentatively slide the heels towards you. From here, everyone, I'm suggesting you to keep pushing the big toe down, squeeze the butt cheeks, and whatever height you have of the brick, lower it to the level below so that the spine adjusts and it's not a very strong transition, very fast transition. And then eventually remove it all together. Bring the knees to the chest, interlace the fingers, roll gently from side to side. Sole of the feet to the floor. Feet hip width apart or a little bit wider, heels slightly outwards. Inhale here. Keep the feet glued to the floor, so notice that my feet do not move. Exhale, drop the knees to the left. Maybe look to the right. Can maintain the arms in goddess. can open, take them forward alongside the body, palms of the hands up in traditional Shavasana. Then bend the elbows. Maybe bring the hands to your heart, to your navel, and breathe. Some might want to potentially rest the left ankle on top of the right knee. You'll see that it's encouraging the right knee to come down, but it's not forcing, it's resting there. Release that foot. If you chose to hook it on top of the right knee, inhale to center, exhale to right. Again, stay with that simple variation, or hook the right ankle on top, rest right ankle on top of the left knee. Release. Inhale back to center. Exhale, straighten the legs forward, legs together, toes apart, like the little ones are coming to the floor, arms alongside the body. Tuck the tailbone forward, pubic bone to you. Try to lengthen the back of your neck, chin slightly, very slightly in. Close your eyes. This is your final relaxation pose. Hopefully, um, you were honest, authentic, and inquire deeply, and more than inquire, because sometimes we do ask, but the most important thing is to listen. Right? Hopefully, you listened um, for to your body. You you listened and try to listen. Um, so that now, once again, as you inquire, can you give yourself permission to be absolutely still? You might even find it, if you like that exercise, that little Kriya, you rest the hands on the navel and you focus simply on the in breath, lifting, expanding the tummy, the belly, lifting the navel up to the ceiling. Exhale, withdrawing into the spine. We just be still. This poem is called Have you noticed? I have no more ideas anymore about God, consciousness, the absolute, or non duality. If you want to talk with me, let us meet here where there are no abstractions. All I want to know is, have you noticed? Something is here, my friend. Something is here. Have you noticed? Only the mystery is. The mystery is noticing that only the mystery is. Have you noticed? With your next in breath, I'm inviting you to stretch the arms up overhead. Push the heels away from you, full body stretch. Exhale, roll on to your left side. Support, bend the knees if you want. Support your head with the left arm or make a pillow with both hands. 3 deep in breaths through the nose, nourishing. 3 out breaths through the mouth to let it go. Keeping your eyes closed, the head is the last thing to come up. Use your right hand to push yourselves up to a comfortable upright seated position. Bring both hands to your chest, fingers to collarbones, elbows resting on the rib cage. No crossing of wrists. Samarpan Mudra. Eyes closed still. May you always be able to feel this warmth created by you, your chi, your energy, holding the intention for a sense of self-love, self-healing, and gratitude for the present moment, for your existence, for this breath, this body. We chant Om and 3 Shantis. Inhale. Om. Shanti. 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 Hari Om. Namaste. Beautiful ones. Genuine inquiry, right? How are you doing? When you close your eyes, when you take enough time, and you can do this any time in the day, please, more than once. Everything is happening, and you remember that it just takes 1 second, 1 second, one breath. You close the eyes, maybe even bring the hands to your heart. How am I feeling? Slow down, slow down. It's been a pleasure, as always, to have you in my company. I hope to see you or be able to hold space for you and be in your presence soon. Um, Hari Om. Namaste. Thank you.